FTA. Cam is alive. She's in Ohio. She is not AI.
Not AI.
She exists. She's not a program that I created years ago. And like, well, when did you start? Like in 20.
Oh, when did I start?
Yeah.
Like 2013.
She's not a program that I created years ago.
Yeah, with AI in 2013.
But yeah. Like, I don't want the water blocking the audio. I don't know if that would do anything.
I don't know either. We're off to a great start here.
But we're here.
We're here.
How are you, Cam?
I'm tired. I'm so tired. I'm not as tired as I was 2 nights ago when we watched that first movie, when I've been flying all day and I've been stuck in this box for like 4 hours, and oh god, I can talk about that.
What was your plane experience like? Because I've never been on a plane, so you're gonna have to I'm gonna have to experience it through you.
Yeah. Okay. Well, my first, getting here, because I was going to a couple different places. Getting here was 2 flights. First flight, really kind of a standard flight, nothing to write home about. The second one was I guess because it was a shorter distance, it was the smallest plane I've ever seen. I walked on it and I was like, I'm actually scared. I've never gotten claustrophobic on a plane. Everyone was hitting their heads. Everyone trying to sit down was hitting their heads, and you could barely stand up, and I was like, this is actually so scary, the idea of being in the air in this thing. And the seats were really tiny, and there were only 2 on either side, and the air conditioning didn't work. So we get an announcement over the speaker that was oh yeah, also there was one flight attendant, she looked younger than me, which was interesting. I was like, I guess that's possible. But
Is there age range?
I have no idea. I was thinking about it on the other flight, because the other flight that I was on, the flight attendant was so charismatic, and I was like, that's so sick that this job just worked out for him. And then I was like, what does it take to become a flight attendant? And then I was like, where do they live? How does that work?
I know they'd only it's I heard, don't they only get paid while the plane is moving? So the whole setup, and while unless the plane is moving, they're not being paid. So that's why,
terrible if true.
Say it's grounded and you're asking the flight attendant for something, they're not during that time they're not being paid. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Well, then this flight attendant must not have had a good time, because we were grounded for 2 hours. Every plane that I took out of O'Hare was grounded for 2 hours. But oh, God,
yeah, I was at the airport waiting, because the flight, it was this is coming at 8:50, so we were just chilling, and then we were I was reloading. It was actually it's 10 minutes later. Actually, it's 10 minutes later.
He texted me that they were fixing to leave for the airport before my plane had taken off, and I was because we were so delayed. And I was like, no. But
it was fun. We were just wandering the airport. We were this is a place I've never been. We were watching the penguin live stream.
Yeah.
We were just watching penguins for hours. I was like, this is the best thing in the world.
That is. It was very, very wholesome to see that as I was coming out. But oh, that was a whole other thing. Okay, so first of all, to get to this this gate was way in the depths of O'Hare. It was all the way down in the back. I was I've never been over here. Literally the end of a hallway. There were no. It was really wacky. And then we get this announcement hey, there's no carry-on space, so all your bags we have to check at the gate. And I'm like, cool. And so they do that, and they take your bag, and then get on the tiniest plane I've ever seen. And there's an announcement hey, this is your captain speaking. We're sorry, this plane is way hotter than it should be. I wrote down what they said. If only I had my phone here. But he was this plane is way hotter than it should be. Our air conditioning isn't working, so I guess I'm just going to ask that everyone keep their shades down, because maybe that will stop the sun from coming in, and that'll mitigate it as much as possible. And then they turn off all the lights on the plane.
So it's just in darkness.
So it's just dark and hot and cramped. And there are so many there were so many small children on this flight. And so they keep going, all right, we're waiting for air traffic control. to give us the go-ahead. And it'll be probably no more than 15 minutes. And then, like, 20 minutes go by, and they're like, all right, sorry for the delay, everyone. It's probably going to be, like, another 10 minutes or so. And then, like, another 20 or 30 minutes would go by, and they just kept saying, like, no more than 10 minutes for about 2 hours. And the kids, the various small children on this flight, at about the hour mark, are getting really antsy and, like, screaming. And so it's hot and dark, and there's children screaming, and I'm like, what?
Because you were texting me, because we were waiting, and I was like, how is she still texting you? Like,
yeah. Well, I kept turning my phone off, because I was like, oh, I think we're going to leave soon. And then, like, 10 or 15 minutes would go by, and I was like, okay, we still haven't left. But yeah, on my way to New Orleans, where I went before this, where we were leaving, the same thing happened, where for half an hour they couldn't get a pilot, and then once they got a pilot, it was another hour and a half before we could actually take off. And I did a lot of trivia on the seat back screen, which this other plane didn't have a seat back screen. The other plane looked like it was from the 70s. It looked like it was from the 70s. It was really beat up. And I kind of felt like I was transported back in time, because there was no lights, there were no screens. It was just, like, hot and small, and I
wonder what the model was. Well, I know I had it, like...
Yeah,
Let me see what...
I looked up the model.
I'm not going to say the plane model, but...
I looked up the model, because it was in the little... Oh, yeah, the flight attendant would be talking like an auctioneer, but, like, mumbling. So she'd be reading off the in-flight announcements, and she'd just be like... And I was like, respectfully, ma'am, do you understand the point of these announcements is to be heard? Like, it's not just for you to say them. But I can't blame her, because she was on this, like, 80-degree plane that was grounded for 2 hours, and I don't know. But she was like, everyone pay attention for the in-flight announcements, or for the in-flight safety announcement, and then she holds up the safety brochure and just goes... waves it at us and puts it down. And I'm like, okay, thank you. What was I going to say about that, though?
They said you were on a bombarder, which is typically seating only 50 passengers.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so I looked this up, and, like, the overview at the top was, like, known for being cramped and uncomfortable for passengers.
Production ended in 2006, so that's...
Yeah.
It ended in 2006. When did it start? First flight was 1991, so it was the 90s. So who knows?
So I a little bit overstated. Because I have no idea what a plane would have looked like in the 70s, to be honest. It just, I think everything was, like, yellowed.
I imagine rugs for some reason, like shaggy rugs inside of them.
That's very possible. Everything was just so, like, yellowed and, like, tan that it made me think of the 70s, but I suppose... a plane in the 70s probably looked
People are just
different.
Smoking cigarettes inside, holding
guns.
guns.
That was the other thing, was that I was thinking, like, for a plane made in the 90s and us being grounded for 2 hours in the heat, I was like, I'm glad planes don't have smoking sections anymore.
Yo, they were actually better. Look at the 1970s economy class planes.
Oh, man! Yeah, wait, that's true, because the planes became affordable. I don't know the history of planes.
They just, like, we're going to put more and more people in here. Like, we are going to squeeze everyone in.
So that shows a gap in my knowledge, because I forgot about that air travel became more affordable. I don't know when it happened, but I know it became significantly more affordable and also probably significantly less.
Crazy how people, when I was, like, at the airport watching people just walk out, everyone was, like, in their pajamas, and then you look at, like, a picture from, like, in the past, and everyone is, like, dressed up. Like, they're on that plane like it's prom or something. Like, they're ready.
Oh, yeah, that was the one other thing, was that I didn't understand how gate checking a bag worked, because I'd never done it. And so I walk off the plane, and I'm like, hey, so where do I get my bag? And she's like, oh, you were supposed to do that earlier. Like, you were supposed to, like, take a different path out of the plane, and also now you can't go back down the tunnel. So you're just going to have to wait here until they're done with everything on the plane. And I'm like, oh, great.
Do you just always do carry-on? Do you never, like,
Well, I either do carry-on, or, like, when I have checked a bag, I check it at check-in, and then you go to baggage claim to get it. Like, you don't, it's not just, like, sitting in a pile
of bags
out of the plane. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
Crazy. We were just waiting. Well, us getting there. I was driving there, and I was like, I thought it'd be packed because I went to an airport one time before. I was dropping my dad off at the Cleveland airport, and it's never like a regular time. It's always like I need to be there at 3 in the morning. So like
Cleveland, man.
it's never a regular time. And then I had to work later at like 5 a.m. that day, so I drove my dad there, and it was madness. Like I was just weaving. I was like, why is it put together this way? Why are there this many people here at 3 a.m.? Is this the time that flights leave? I'm like, what is going on here? But this airport, the Akron one, it was fine. It was like there was like 3 people there when I, when I pulled up.
It was kind of cute. I was like, especially having like my layover, walking from the terminal that I got in from New Orleans to the one to Akron. It was a 25-minute walk through the airport. And then I get to Akron and I'm like, oh, this is so cute.
It was like a middle school. It was like, it was so small. And there was only one place. There was like, because we were like, is there multiple places? Like, if someone is coming from United, where would they go? They were like, every plane, they all exit through this one area. There's like no, like, this is United, this is American Airlines. I was like, okay, this is a really small airport.
Yeah.
And leaving, that gate tricked me out, like the thing that closed.
I'm curious why. Like, I'm trying to think, like,
why did I have to get that close?
That it's like, I want to use my brain and figure this out, but I don't know. Does it like mitigate traffic? I feel like it does the opposite.
I didn't even understand the purpose because there was another gate. We still had to drive to a gate and put in the ticket.
Yeah, right. That's the thing. Was that there was a gate down the road where that's where you pay for your parking, but this one was just like automatic, and you drive up and you get about a centimeter away, and then it opens.
Yeah, I had to stop there for like a while, and then it like, right, we're opening.
We got like so close to the gate that we were like, okay, wait, is this gate saying don't go through? Because we're so close to it. There's no way that...
I had to reverse out, and then we just waited for someone else. We're like, I want to see how this guy does it.
And then that other person had the same thing, where they kept driving up and then like got really close, and they were clearly like... But they just full sent and kept going, and then it opened, and we were like, okay.
I was like, if this doesn't, I'm just gonna drive over the curb. I was like, that curb looks drivable. Like,
you're saying this like your car is meant for off roading. Like,
well, it was like,
yeah,
I
maybe
could
it
have done
wasn't
it.
Too bad.
It wasn't like I had to go through a terrain. It was just a little curb. But that was madness, and but honestly, if I were, because that's a plane for it's a small area that. Like Chicago, the Cleveland, no, I don't ever want to go there. Like if you ever arose from a Cleveland flight, I would never go there. Like I would like just send you the Uber. Like I would never go there, and that's so far away.
Well, it's funny. My friend in Cleveland, we always like going back and forth. We always take the Amtrak to get there. It's like I've never flown to Ohio. I've always taken the train. I just happened to be flying because I was coming from Louisiana, but. Yeah, he said he had to fly once. I don't remember if it was in or out of Ohio, but he was like, I hate the Cleveland airport. I hate it. I hate flying. I hate flying out of Cleveland. It's the worst thing.
The only time I've been on a plane was a 4-seater plane. It was like it was me, my sister, and my dad. Dad was in the front, and then the pilot was like piloting. And there was like two... And literally to land the plane, he was like, "Oh, this will make it easier." He just opened both the doors. like we were in the air riding around in like this small 4-seater, and I'm freaking out because when it's a small plane, it's like you feel everything.
Yeah.
It's like and then he was like, "All right, this is the easiest way to land." He just opens the doors and he's like folding them to kind of like I don't know, make the wind. And I was freaking out. I'm like looking down, like I'm like taking a look. Yeah. I'm like, why am I doing this white people stuff right now?
There was one moment on that tiny plane to Akron where the actual like act of hitting the ground when we landed was very smooth compared to the other flights I was on, but the descent was so like we would just I don't really know how. I have so many friends who are really into planes, but I'm just not. I don't really know how descent works. I would assume that you would just kind of maybe you wouldn't just nosedive because that would be like, but the way that we were doing it, it felt like I haven't been on the Tower of Terror, but I imagine this is what it feels like because we would just it would just drop, and I would feel like everything just like for a second, like I would feel like I was floating because we would just drop down however many feet, and then I was like, are we out of gas? Like, what's happening? And then we would just be smooth sailing again, and then we would again, and I was like, oh my god. And the child in front of me was like she was like gleefully reciting her headcanon of how like the wheels were gonna fall off and the wings were gonna fall off, and we were all gonna like crash and die. And I was like, what little is this like little 4-year-old just like, ha ha ha, it's gonna be so
little evil child
explode. I was like, oh god, I'm glad I'm not like scared of planes anymore.
Was there a scared of planes cam era?
Very recently, because I've not ridden a plane in a long, or I had not until I went to Spain. I can't think of the last time I was on a plane before I went to Spain. And on that flight, it was a combination of like being on a plane and knowing I was going to be in the air for a long time. I was
how long was that flight to Spain?
Out.
Was that like 10 hours, 12 hours?
It was like, oh god, I don't even remember, because we had to fly to Iceland, which I was like,
that seems out of the way.
It was really out of the way, but it was we were like, the flight is so much cheaper if we go through Iceland, but it was really out of the way, which also freaked me out because I was like, oh my god, we're flying like all this way over an ocean to like this sort of secluded. I was like, oh my god, I was like freaking out.
You were in economy the whole time.
And I was in economy the whole time because we were like, we're just getting the cheapest tickets and the cheapest seats that we can get.
I'm bougier than that. I wasn't even flying. I was bougie on your behalf. I was like first class. Let's get these first class tickets.
Well, that was what was funny was that it was first class out of New Orleans, and then transition to like this tiny plane from the 90s with no air conditioning. Because when I was in the first class seat, I was like, I'm gonna be so spoiled. Like I'm gonna have to get used to economy seats again. And it was like, oh, this is like
knocking
5 steps
you right back to
that.
reality. Well, your flight back is first class again, so.
I think it's still on a tiny regional plane though, which is like fine.
Yeah.
But I'm curious what first class on a little plane like that is going to be.
It's probably room, I guess.
Yeah, certainly. Hopefully this one has AC.
Well, I was looking at it was like putting the map of the seats. It was like no one is next to you. It's just like.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Like a seat.
I was like, there's just one on the left. Like I have both a window and an aisle seat. It's just
at the
one
same
seat.
time.
I'm very curious what this plane is gonna look like. I almost looked it up and then I was like, no, I'm gonna be surprised. Review it. Yeah.
But all of this was to see Pierce the Veil.
Mm-hmm.
All of this was to see Pierce the Veil, and I asked Cam to make a shirt with a very specific picture of Vic Fuentes on there, because it was when we were talking about it on the podcast. Was that podcast recorded before we saw Pierce the Veil? Initially when we brought that up? Yeah, we were talking about it, and then I was like, "Yo, they're touring. I'm buying these tickets." And initial
I think
one.
you got those a while ago.
Yeah.
But then between then and because I had been saying like, oh, I could make shirts.
Oh yeah. Then I was like, I need you to put this face on a shirt and have it say "Stay away from my friends" at the bottom. I was like, we all gotta wear them. But then I was like, just 2 came. I was like, I know Cam. I was like, Cam was probably like, I don't know if I can wear this. I don't know if this is me. Like,
I don't know why in my head I was like, it felt, I don't want to say like classless. I was just like, are people gonna think like that's really weird? And like, why are you like using this weird picture of like this guy in a band that we like hadn't considered?
But then literally we got.
Like, yeah, literally, not only did we get
someone gave us
little printouts of the same thing, but there were other people also wearing a shirt with the same picture that said "looks at you with my autistic eyes" on it. I can't even tell you, I felt like I was walking with 2 celebrities. Like, the amount of heads that turned. Like, we were turning heads left and right. Everywhere we went, there were people going like...
I couldn't get anywhere. Literally, anytime I was moving around, and later on when we were sitting in the seats, I kept hearing people, "Yo, those are the guys!" Like, I heard people just shouting. Literally, anytime I felt like I was like, "Yo, I'm so dripped out right now." Like, anytime like we were walking, like if I saw like the look of regret in Cam's eyes, because when we first walked in, it was maybe like a couple people like, "Oh, nice shirt," like, oh, but then literally everyone, every single person was just like, "That is a great shirt."
I could not have imagined how popular they would be. It was a a good life lesson for me because when I was like, even just a couple years ago, I was more into like being kind of wacky and weird and like, I don't know if you'd call this campy.
I'm still in that. That's me forever.
Yeah, well, that was the thing, was it like something happened. Something shifted where I was like, I don't want to seem weird. I don't want to like ruffle any feathers. I don't want to do anything. Because in my head I was like, what if this like makes people uncomfortable? What if people like are like, why are you like bringing up that old picture? I don't know why I thought that.
That's like, it's funny. This is what emo people like.
This is what emo people like. Like, I've been in this community for like over a decade. How do I not know this? But
that'd be like if you like were going to like a Hamilton event and you were wearing a shirt with that picture of, you know, that meme picture of Lin-Manuel Miranda where he's like, what's that? Hold on, I have to find it.
All I'm thinking of is Miku Binder, Thomas Jefferson.
Or if you wore that, people would be like, "Yo, that's hilarious."
Yeah,
like,
they so would be. But seriously, even like maybe 2 years ago, I was like, I would make lots of like silly, stupid shirts and stuff, and I would wear them around. And then maybe it was like,
this picture of him.
Oh God, yeah.
If you wore a shirt with that picture of him.
I don't know why. I can't think of exactly what made me start acting this way. It's very almost like politician-like, which I've talked about this before.
You've talked about how there was a drastic change in your whole like yourself.
Shift.
Like there was a time when you. Well,
I
feel like you were
shifts,
always like.
I would say.
I feel like it's a natural for you to be like self-conscious. Like,
oh yeah.
Like, but you said there was like a time when like you distinctly like it like formed in your mind where you were just like, I am very aware of all things. Like
yeah, there were 2 shifts. There was like one, and then I sort of started to like go back from it, and then another thing happened where I like really went full send into it, and I started being like sort of having this politician brain of like, don't do anything or wear anything or be anything that could offend anyone ever. Yo. Because you don't want to put anyone off. And then I'm like thinking about it, I'm like, when politicians do that, no one likes it. When a politician is like, oh, I'm not going to commit to any position, or I'm not going to like commit to any sort of narrative because it might alienate certain people, and then no one likes it because it's not appealing to anyone. So I'm like, okay, I have to get past this. And this was a good life lesson in like, okay, just do something silly and like stupid and people will actually find it funny.
And even if there's like someone who like even if there's someone who's looking at you like that's stupid, it doesn't matter. Like I feel like even I'm sure there's some like snooty person there who was like, that's so like, you know, some like civilized emo person, like that's so uncivilized. Like
who cares if some elder emo in Ohio thought my shirt was weird?
The
like,
shirt is great.
Yeah.
I do everything. I'm like, is this going to... Am I committing to the bit? Will I laugh at this? That's my, like... I'm like, if I think it's funny and it's not, like, racist or, like... or something crazy, like... But, if it's just going to, like... Someone's going to be like, that's stupid. I'm like, okay, I don't care. I'm still going to do it anyway. Like, that's my life.
Yeah.
I'll commit to the bit. If there's a bit, I will commit to it to the end. Like
there's this one specific moment. This wasn't the like turning point, but it was sort of a bigger component of the turning point where I guess you could say I posted cringe, and someone who I like cared about and admired was like, that was really dumb or something. Like they said something where they were just like, you know what, that was really, and I was like gutted. And it's still, I think about it sometimes, and I'm like, yeah, that thing I said was kind of stupid. But then I'm like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if they've forgotten about it. Everyone who saw it forgot about it. Like, no one is thinking about this except me.
But you'll be like, I could have done the silly thing. Like, I could have done the,
yeah.
And now if we go to another Pierce the Veil concert, it's not like... it's like, that's the second time. It's a rehash.
Oh, yeah, and also, I meant to text them. I didn't text them. I got 5 people who requested that I make the shirt for them. Like, I have in my notes, people just put their numbers in my phone, and I have to text them, and I haven't been doing that. So I'll do that, I guess, when we're done with this.
But that's so funny. Dude, yeah. I was like, this is like a sitcom moment. Like, I was like, imagine if we were closer, like, because, you know, like, the camera pans.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, if we were closer and actually visible to, you know, there would have been, like, that is a wild shirt, like.
Right. Well, that was, in my head, there was this weird, like, and I guess this is maybe almost projecting my mentality onto someone else, where, in my head, I literally was like, Vic Fuentes is not gonna see this shirt. But if he did, what if he were like, why do we have to keep rehashing this picture of me? Like, why do we have to keep bringing up this, like, weird, ugly picture of me? Like, I have a whole career. This was taken, like, 10 years ago. And also, it's like, who cares? I was,
it's in my head, I'm like,
oh, it's disrespectful to the person. He'll be fine.
He doesn't care.
He doesn't care.
I bet,
he's got a wife and child.
Like, and he's, like, famous. Like,
and he's famous.
Like, the fact that there's, like, people wearing a shirt with his face on it, like, that's, like, if there was, like, a bad picture of me, like, and people were wearing that, I'm like, that's hilarious. Like, I am known. I'm known in these streets. Like, that's true. But
we love just to be known.
But, yeah, it was so funny. I was like, this is like a sitcom moment. How like literally every single person, everyone is just like, hey.
Because as I was making them, I was like, oh, this might be so weird. Like, walking around with these two guys in these shirts. I could not have imagined how beloved they would be.
Hey, we were Pierce the Veil that night.
Yeah.
And I think us being like me being like a big black guy, like
I think that definitely contributed to it too.
Like I bet if it was like some like emo looking girl with like black hair or something, it wouldn't.
People might not bat an
eye. It wouldn't have been like that big of a deal, but it was just like the duet, like the difference.
Yeah. It's also such a. I was thinking like it's such a. I don't want to say odd. It's just like a unique group of like these two big black guys and then like me in a different shirt just being like, let's go! Let's find our seats!
And we were both wearing the same shirt.
Right, you were both wearing that, and like they looked like my entourage. Especially, and then at one point when like we were sitting and it was like, it was me, you, New. And then I couldn't see, so I moved to between you, so you were like flanking me.
Yeah, oh yeah, you had that seat right behind some tall people.
It was very, very silly.
But overall, the show was good. The sound quality was variable.
My god.
Beach Weather, I gotta say, Pierce the Veil sound quality wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But they were...
it was leagues ahead of the openers.
I think Beach Weather had the best sound quality because...
I could hear what they were saying. I was... Yeah.
Like, I didn't... Like, if I didn't know the Pierce the Veil songs, I wouldn't know...
I wouldn't know what they were saying,
I wouldn't, like... But I was, like... It was... My mind was just filling in the blanks. Like, I was like, okay, I know these songs, but... Like, with Beach Weather, I didn't know the songs, but I could hear the lyrics. Like, I could hear what he was saying.
Sleeping with Sirens was, like, so bad. Not them, but just good. Their sound was so bad. It was just, like, this wall of noise. And we could not make out... I couldn't even make out what songs were playing, because it just sounded like... guitar, and, like, I couldn't hear the vocals, and, like, the drums would be really loud, but at the same time, like, really muffled. And I was like, I was like,
I need them to say the song names.
Yeah, before... I can say what the song is.
I didn't know until, like, halfway through when they were playing that, like, is this what you call a family? Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, it's that song. Okay. And I knew when, If You Can't Hang, the only reason I knew is because I'm like, they're going to play that at the end. Like, they haven't played it yet. They're going to play If You Can't Hang. Like, yeah. And, like, it began with no instrumentals. Like, there was, like, the no instrument part where he's like, if you can't hang, then there's the door. I was like, okay, I definitively know that this is If You Can't Hang. But the other songs, not even sure. Like, what's happening?
I eventually figured out one of them was Kick Me, but then I couldn't figure out where we were in any of the verses. I was like, I don't know where we are in this song. I was trying to listen for lyrics that I recognized. I was like, I don't know what he's saying. I would just be like, and I'm like, okay, that's Kick Me. I can't hear him saying it, but...
I'd heard people online saying, like, how Kellen Quinn's vocals are, like, either it just depends on the night. Like, sometimes he can be really good, but which is understandable because singing that way on a tour, like, I could imagine, like, the first few shows being, like, good, just to, like, and to be that age, to be, like, 40-something, and you're still, like, like, just doing this pitchy voice all the time. Like,
yeah. I gotta say, he looks great. I was kind of astounded. I was like, I feel like he looks...
The same. He
looks the same. His hair looks a little bit different.
He had, like...
But it like, worked. I was like, he actually looks really, like, in my opinion, better than I thought he looked 10 years ago.
Better than in the King for a Day music video?
Oh my god, in the King for a Day music video. That's where his hair's like a little shorter, right?
He
Then it
was in,
has
like,
been, because sometimes it's like down here, but I feel like in that one it was like here.
Let me see.
And he's like, my phone ran out of storage 15 seconds before King for a Day ended.
Did you record the entirety of King?
I ended up recording the entirety of King for a Day.
I saw your phone up the whole time because you were
I was not watching, because I was watching the stage, but I had my phone up because I was like, I just want to have this.
Because it was hilarious how like we couldn't hear each other. We were just communicating through text, and there was no reception.
And there was no reception,
so we were just showing our phones.
Yeah,
to
we
each
were
other.
typing out messages, and then it would say delivery failed. So then we would just show the phone.
I'm
to each
saying
other.
this like
Yeah.
Like when Vic came out, I was like, he really looks 42. Like
I got that text when we were in the car leaving. I didn't see that. I don't even know if I saw it on your phone.
Yeah.
As we were leaving, as you were driving, I like get a text and it says he really looks 42. And I'm like, are you? Yeah, and I was like, wait, what's happening?
And I'm driving. My phone is like GPS right now.
What's going on here?
When it was like they were doing the what was the song where it was black and white, like it was and it was all
Circles?
like slow motion. I sent you. I was like, it looks like a dead wife montage. Like I was like, this looks like flashbacks to someone's dead wife. I'm like, but it didn't send, so I don't know if or when you got that.
I got that one at the same time. I got he looks 42 and this looks like a dead wife montage. I was like, how is he? Okay, he's not texting me right now, but.
Oh, they look so goofy.
They look so. Oh my god, he looks so little.
I'm seeing.
I can't even imitate the faces that he's making because you're not gonna put these in the edit.
Well, this is a.
So you're just gonna have to.
Yeah. That's what you get. But it was good.
It was good. I liked. I don't even know if I should. I was saying that conceptually, I thought that the like art, I guess you'd call it, around this tour, like the branding with the girl kind of crying and looking scared, I thought she did a good job. I liked her expression, and like they had like a video on their Instagram that I watched last night that was like kind of cool and creepy, and it was very horror movie vibes.
Yeah. But
then I was like, I don't want.
You don't want to wear
it was
that.
on all the merch, and I was like, I don't want a shirt with like a battered woman on it who looks like terrified and has been crying. And like then I saw
eyeliner
like,
and lips all.
Yeah, and then I
like
saw
she was like dug up or something.
On the Reddit, it was people being like, "Am I the only one who doesn't want this like terrified random woman on my shirt?" Because I was like, people are gonna. I sort of forgot about the stigma around this kind of music.
Yeah, like I don't want this. That's
so.
That's terrifying. That's gonna trigger somebody. Like.
Yeah, I was just like, I don't. It makes it look. I don't know. Again, I forgot that there's sort of a stigma around this kind of stuff, that like it's creepy and like violent and like that just looks like so.
It's just a woman screaming, and it says, "I can't
indulgent
hear you."
Almost. Wait, you gotta show them the woman screaming. The woman screaming is almost like compared to the one where she's just like looking scared in the corner.
Oh yeah.
She looks like. I don't think that's visible at all.
No, it's visible. I can see it.
This really like high tech stuff we've got going on.
Yep,
here.
all in the name of me not editing anymore. So
yeah, but
and they have like other like they had like Flair for the Dramatics merch on, but I understand they're trying to sell the I Can't Hear Your World, but I'm like I would rather like a Selfish Machines or a Flair for the Dramatics. Like I don't want this as a shirt either.
Yeah. I liked the color scheme and the design and all the stuff on that I Can't Hear You, but I was just like, yeah, I don't want this scared woman on my shirt where people are like, oh, you listen to music that like glorifies violence against women. I'm like, no. I did really like. I was between at the merch stand. I was between this and this other shirt that had like an image for each of the albums, which was also what they did at the beginning. They brought down these like, oh god, I haven't done Deck Crew in a long time. What are these things called? Not scrims. I don't know.
Was it this? No, that you got that. That's
I got
what you're wearing right
I got
now
this.
in white, yeah.
This just has like, I was talking to the people behind me in line. The guy behind me in line was like, what do you think about the show? And I was like, it was so good. And then I was like, can you guys, it was like him and his friend, and I was like, can you guys tell what is on the white shirt? It reminds me of, which Kendrick album?
Oh, To Pimp a Butterfly?
To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yeah.
It's what this kind of, like, is it just a crowd? Their guess was it's just a crowd of people. I was like, I don't know what this is.
Now that I can see it up close. I see, like, heads. I don't even know.
I don't know. I hope it's not, like, a mass grave. Because with this album, you never know. Or with this brand, you never know. But,
Did you wear chokers? Have I seen you in a choker before? I feel like I've seen them
on occasion. I liked them. I had one of those tattoo chokers that's like stretchy and plastic when I was in middle school. When I was in middle school, at first I would just wear like band shirts, and then I sort of encountered other people who were also into bands, and then I got a little bit more like, I started wearing like wristbands and like a tattoo choker, but I wouldn't normally wear it to school. But I owned them, and then like occasionally I've worn chokers just like as part of a video costume. The last time I wore it was actually when I watched my 8th grade time capsule. I know I'm wearing a choker in that video.
Yeah, that's where I was like, I know I've seen you in a choker. Like, I was like going through like the Rolodex of cam videos in my mind, which like isn't that many. Like, it's like I can I can like mentally go through them. But I was like, I know I saw you in a choker before. But I was saying that because they had, like, the flair for the dramatics choker.
Did you see the girl behind us had to put her choker back in her car? She had, like, spikes on her choker.
Oh.
And the security person was like, you gotta put that back in your car.
Or throw it away.
That
was so crazy.
I was like, damn. But then someone, like, sitting next to us, like, the person to my left when we first got there, had a headband with giant spikes on it, and I almost wanted to be like, I'm surprised they didn't make you throw that out.
Throw it in the trash.
Because I don't see how that's really any different in terms of like why they would make you.
I feel like you could have smuggled the choker in, like, if you wanted to. Because was it like metal? Was it actual metal?
I'm sure it. Well, I don't know. I guess the range of metal could be a lot of things. I don't know what gets picked up by a metal detector. Like, does like some fake aluminum? I don't even know if it was aluminum. I don't know.
But it was good. I liked. They didn't play Stay Away From My Friends.
No, they didn't. Every time they zoomed in on Vic, he looked so sad.
He has sad eyes.
He has sad eyes. I mean, it wasn't bad. He looked nice. Can I say he looked nice?
When I say he looked 42, he didn't look bad. He looked... Honestly,
I don't even think he looked 42. He definitely looked
older.
Like he wasn't 20, yeah.
Well, compared to like when I seen him young, because he was so scrawny, he looks like more filled out. Like, like he used to like not fill out his shirts. Like, remember, like, he would be like the clothes would be like wearing him. But like this, he looked like he like just finished a shift at the factory. Like he had on like that.
He's a dad. They all looked great. Like, seriously, like, I was having a little moment where I was like, Jaime looks great. And then I was like, wait, Tony looks great. And then I was like, oh, shit, what's the drummer's name? I don't want to get the wrong name.
It's not the original
Reggie?
drummer.
No, it's not.
Didn't, like, he get, like, caught up in a scandal or something?
Yeah, it was, I think, Vic's brother. I think it was Mike Fuentes was the original. And the new one is, like, Reggie something.
Yeah.
And he's really good. And I remember looking him up when he first was like announced as the new drummer, but I'm such a fake fan that I can't remember his name right now.
What happened with
I think he had like allegations, because I wrote an essay for this in a media studies class that I took, about where they were like, write an essay about like a fandom, I think, or it was like about like about like a subculture.
That's
and
crazy.
So I wrote mine about like the emo subculture and how it was like punk emo, and how it's not exclusive to this subculture. It's probably the case for a lot of things with like bands, but that it's just very likely that if you look up like a band allegations, like one of the members is going to have an inappropriate.
In November of 2017, drummer Mike Fuentes was accused of soliciting nude photos and statutory rape by a young woman.
Ay.
So that's double. That's like,
yeah.
For some reason, I thought it was just he had like he was like showing nude photos.
I thought he was just being a little. That's not good.
Okay, but shout out to, I don't know, well, because it's like you don't. whenever this happens, it's like, how did the band know that this was happening? Like, but shout out to them for just like, and that's his brother too, for being like not defending your brother in that, to just being like, nope, we're switching you out. Yeah, that's like, I know All Time Low gotten.
They had something happen.
Yeah.
With,
it was. I think it was similar. Like.
Yeah, I mean, it's seriously.
Yeah,
it's like just, once you've seen one, you've seen them all.
It's part of the genre. It's hard to find a band that doesn't have allegations. Like,
band that makes music marketed at preteen girls has an issue with preteen girls. Fork found in kitchen.
It's hard to find.
It's tough, but it's good when they handle it appropriately, and then you can say, "Oh, I get to still like this band." Cool.
I mean, there's plenty of bands with allegations that I still like, but I just like I wouldn't see them live.
Right.
Like, I'm going to listen to them. Like I say this. My favorite R&B singer of all time is R. Kelly. Like I love. I don't. Would I ever go to a con? Well, I can't. You can't go to a concert, but the albums are like. he's instrumental to the black community. Is all I'll say. It's like you can't go to a black cookout without like. It's hard. Like
there's a line somewhere, and I'm sure everyone has like a different line in terms of like how much stuff are you able to put up with where you separate the art from the artist. There's like I can't think of who it is. There was one band that I was like, someone in this band is problematic, but I just have to accept that. But I can't even remember who it is now.
I totally understand people like not wanting to start listening to R. Kelly, but when you're black and like. And you grow up, and every moment is like, my mind telling me no. Like, you're just like, that's like, you're stepping in the name of love at every, like, it's like being like, it's kind of like how Elvis was a disturbing person, but like.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson, like, I don't know if that was alleged or not. I haven't gone too deep into that, like.
Honestly, me neither. I don't know. I feel like there's some compelling evidence, but I don't know. Allegedly.
I don't want to be that person that's like not believing victims, but when you're as big as Michael Jackson, I feel like a large percentage of the allegations are just people jumping on a bandwagon, like trying to, but like I'm sure there is because he did have like kids at his house and everything.
And I mean, not to say like, well, I won't opine too much on it because I don't know the details or try and theorize about it or armchair psychology him. But, yeah, I think it's almost sort of a visceral thing. Like, there have been people that I've looked up to in whatever sense you can look up to, like, a celebrity, and then I find out something about them, and I'm like, oh, I just don't like that person anymore. I can't think of who that's happened with, but I know it's happened, where I'm like, oh, that thing that he did, I don't actually want to... Like, I won't fault someone else if they still like his music, but I don't want to listen to it anymore.
And it's especially hard if they keep going and they're still thriving. Like, like R. Kelly is in jail. Like, so it's kind of like, and he doesn't own his publishing, like, or his masters or anything, because, like, so I'm like, okay. But, like, being someone who loves the first Escape the Fate album, who, like, being a Ronnie Radke listener in 2025
maybe that's the one that I'm thinking
is
of.
difficult.
Where I was like, yeah.
It's difficult because I love dying. I need to hear Situations every single day of my life.
That's totally who it was, too. It was Falling in Reverse and Escape the Fate, where I was like, this is not a good guy.
I can't.
But I do like this music, and that's the one, because I think I'm... Oh, sorry, I kind of interrupted you there.
I was just saying, I can't live a life without hearing The Drug in Me Is You. Like,
that's the one. I tend to, like, once there are, like, credible and, like, corroborated allegations or, like, charges against a person, I'm kind of like, I don't really want to listen to their music anymore. But Ronnie Radke is the one where I'm like, this guy's a piece of shit.
And the thing is, it's not like there was no, like sexual... It's just this guy is terrible.
Yeah.
Like he's transphobic.
Oh, he is? I didn't even know that.
Did you see his rants where he's doing the T slur? He's like...
Oh, no!
He's heavy leaning into that whole right wing...
well, I know he did his Are You Triggered? That's not... You never want to hear that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know he was transphobic. I thought he was just kind of an asshole.
I've literally seen him do the homophobic... the F sharp.
Oh no, I might have to stop. Oh, I don't wanna.
Wait, let me Have you been on his TikTok? Have you been on? It's
I don't follow him as a person. The only one that I've seen is there was one where, and I just saw it like reposted somewhere where I think he does like a piano cover of The Drug in Me Is You.
Oh yeah.
And there's some guy reacting to it and going, wait, because he like thinks it's a new song and he's like, wait, I've heard these lyrics before. And he's like, is he like reusing lyrics? And Ronnie Radke is watching it and he's like, are you fucking kidding me? He's like, how do you not realize? He's like, what are you? And then like the girl from the album cover comes out and the guy's like, is that his daughter? And Ronnie's like, what are you saying? And that's like the only thing I've seen. I don't want to see him saying homophobic,
I'm just looking at his
stuff.
I'm just looking at his comments. Show me one person over the age of 19 that calls themselves they, them.
Oh my god, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. Ugh. Alright, well.
But hey, I love The Drug in Me Is You. In life really do be like a video game sometimes. That's
my life, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? All while I'm still collecting coins.
Yeah.
Who's the most canceled of the emo community? Well, no, it has to be that Lost Prophets guy. He was, do you know the band Lost Prophets?
I think I've heard of it, but I don't know anything
What's their
about.
song? They have that, their song Rooftops. Wait,
I'd probably recognize it if I heard it, but you also can't really play it.
I can't, but their singer, he was literally, like, with babies. Like...
What?
He is, like, the most extreme...
Oh my god.
If you read, that might be something you need to break down one day, but to give the abridged version, he was literally like several like toddlers, babies, and like he was in jail and he somehow he was getting fans to like send he's in jail currently. I think he's in jail for the rest of his life.
Oh my god.
But like he was like getting like fans to like send pictures of their children to him in jail.
Jesus, I was going to give Blood on the Dance Floor as like an extreme example. But suddenly that seems like... Also, are they classified as emo? Or are they more like crunkcore? I feel like every crunkcore artist is probably problematic.
Yeah. They're like... They're... Blood on the Dance Floor is... They're scene.
Scene. That's the other genre that I forgot about. Yeah, scene. What's the crunkcore one?
Yeah, like he was the Lost Prophets guy was literally caught with like a baby, like
Jesus,
and it was like him and his wife, and he was just doing this for.
Oh my god.
Oh, yeah, Lost Prophets had that screaming on the roof, standing on the rooftops, everybody scream your heart out or something like that. I don't know
if I know it.
But yeah. Anyway, he was like that's the top. That he is like the most canceled of them all.
Yeah, that'll do it.
when it's a baby, but. I think by sheer number it's probably Davi Vanity. Because when I was like going through like watching all these like victims coming forward, I'm like, how did he have time to groom like hundreds of women at the same time? And they were all saying like he would like respond to their messages like within seconds. And like, how was he just like
bro was locked in.
He just had like 50 chats open, like doing this. I'm like, how did he have time to do this all the time? Like multiple like minors at the same time. That's crazy. Like,
was the other guy? Did he do anything that we know of?
What
the
Jay
other guy?
Vaughn?
Yeah, that one.
No, he was actually. How he was treated? No, he was good. He's actually fairly wholesome. He was actually abusing him because didn't Javon join the? He was like underage. I'm pretty sure when he was in.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
And like he was like, cause he has AIDS, right? He has like STDs.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
And like he was so he has to get like medication and like Davi was like keeping him from his like medication and everything.
Yes, I do vaguely remember that he was withholding medication or like something to that effect.
He was like very controlling of him. Like he'd be like, "I need my medicine." Like Davi had like a very controlling, like weird, like predatory like relationship with Javon. That was weird, man.
You hate to see it.
That was Danny B's like favorite group back in the day. She saw Blood on the Dance Floor live a lot, like when she was like 13, like in that era. So that's just disturbing, man.
Yeah, I always just think of that one, like, I don't know a whole lot of Blood on the Dance Floor, if you can believe it. But they have the one song where it's something like making out in rentals, avoiding
Oh yeah,
parentals.
making out in rentals, avoiding the parentals. That was
Like,
we I think me and Danny B and Noob, we like reacted to a few of their albums, like just like like years ago. I think we did. So I'm unfortunately I'm familiar with quite a few.
they have this. There's this weird vibe to their music that I don't like. It's like, oh, I don't even know when they were. I already completely failed to try to assign a decade to that plane, but I'm gonna say maybe like early 2000s. Probably not by 20. I'm gonna say it was maybe like the aughts.
Well, that whole scene genre was like, I want to say 06 to 2012.
That's what I'm thinking, and I'm thinking it was like early to mid. I don't even think it was like post 2010, but there's this like sort of like almost. It's like this weird. It sounds like something that would be played in an arcade, and it like there's this one song that they had with some woman who. I looked at her Instagram.
Was it that lady?
Yeah, I think her name had like lady in it.
Something.
Something, and I looked at her Instagram, and she's like a trad wife, like Trump supporter or something. I think I might be making that up.
They have a lot of songs with her. Was it that? Because I know they got that. You got me bewitched.
That one,
under your spell.
And it was like the way that like his voice is like a certain sort of way.
You're
and like
attractive.
the aesthetics of the music video it's so like weird and campy, but I really liked it in this weird like it's so odd, but I don't know.
Any goodness of Blood on the Dance Floor, you can thank Jay Vaughn for that, because he could actually sing. He was writing the melodies and everything. If you listen to music after he left, it's like a stark. It's like a stark difference. He despite Davi Vanity not being able to sing, "You're attractive, little witch, you're beautiful." Like, despite that, he was right. He could write a melody that like would sound good, and so yeah, Jay was a big part in that. What are the freakiest blood? Oh, there was that "Scream for My Ice Cream," "Tell Me All Your Dirty Dreams." There was like the Yo-Ho song.
Oh, that one I know.
Yo-Ho-Ho, it's my duty to please that booty or something. And like the song. Oh yeah, the disturbing. I remember distinctly because we were reacting to the album of Danny B. There was a line where he was like, "Is your porthole big enough for my ship?" And I was like, I don't like this.
Gross.
Oh, and they have a song just called "Sexting," which that's what Dobby was doing every second of the day.
It's weird. I'm trying to think if there are like, what are examples of this, where like there's like a public figure and they're doing something behind the scenes that's like illicit and bad, and then you listen to like their music or you read their books
that makes sense.
Or whatever, and then but they're just like talking about it directly.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh. I guess we could have figured that one out.
Making out in rentals, avoiding the parentals.
There's a lot of stuff about like, and this one's not just in emo music, it's like across the board where it'll be like, oh god, what's the one song? There's some well-known like metal or rock or like some song where I think the girl is like 12 and he's like singing like a love song about a 12-year-old. I can't remember what song that is, but there's a lot where it's like, oh, she's 15 and like the world hasn't gotten to her yet, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah. I mean, you know, when I was listening to the 1975 for the first time, and I didn't know the age of consent was different in
Europe, and they're saying stuff about 17.
She can't be what you need when she's 17. They're just girls. Yeah. I was like, okay. What are you talking about? Why did you think she could be what you need when she's 17? Mm-hmm. But also, he could have been like 17. He could be talking in the past or something.
Yeah, that's the thing, was that when you're listening to that stuff when you're 15 or even younger than the young ages that they're giving in these songs, I'd be like 12 and I'd be listening to like a love song about a 16-year-old and I'm like, oh, 16, that's like an age that you can write a love song. And then you find out that the person who wrote it is 30 and you're like, oh, okay, maybe he was writing it about when he was 16, but still Still,
dude, it's like when I'm listening to like I've been listening to like Guns N' Roses' first 2 albums a lot lately, and you know Axl Rose was like dating like a 15-year-old.
Maybe I think the thing that I was thinking of with the 12-year-old or whatever might have been a Guns N' Roses song.
He was he was dating a 15-year-old at the time, and if you listen, "Sweet Child of Mine" is about like, if you listen to it just off the lyrics, it's about like feeling love and relating it back to like the pureness of a childhood memory, like when like I feel safe with you, like when I was a kid, like you make me feel pure. But then when when you think about it, because it's like he's like, oh sweet child of mine, like she got eyes of the bluey skies, like, and I'm like, okay, like what did you mean, like when you were writing this?
Yeah, because that's yeah. Not great.
I was just looking at the lyrics to Sexting. I was like, this song is way more disturbing than I remember it to be. But there's a line. Cybering is so 1999. You've got to be textually active. Textually active. If you want to be mine. Less than 3 is just a tease. Send those nudes and make me drool. Hit me up. Time to use tongue on you. Show me what you've got on my LCD.
Why are we doing this?
But yeah.
Oh, God.
The puns. Like Quagmire on Family Guy. Giggity giggity.
Ugh.
All the time.
This is not really the same, but there was a Lil Mabu lyric that I saw.
What, are you out here listening to Lil Mabu?
No, it was just on Twitter. Oh, God, what was it? It was like... She said she liked purple. Oh, so I blew her back out and left her on red, and then he like explains it.
Yeah, there was an era where every short was that. I kept seeing that. She said, "Little Moppy, I like purple," or something.
And then he's like, "'Cause blue and purple makes red. Don't let it not get in your head." Or
don't let
something.
It go over your head.
Don't let it go over your head. I forgot the expression. I was gonna say, "Don't let it get to your head," but I was like, "That's not right." He's like, "Don't let it go over your head," and I'm like, "This is." Oh,
he didn't even say anything. Like the line.
Yeah, I was like, "This is you don't need to explain this." There are much more like confusing, intricate word plays in rap songs that they don't explain to you immediately. He stole some guy's girl. Do you know what I'm talking about? He stole some woman
stealing girls,
and she got like Mabu's girl tattooed on her. And she was like,
all from Mabu.
She was dating some like really pretty famous. Oh God, wait. I don't want to get the wrong person. I don't know. I found it.
It was like I want to intersect her circle. She like Mabu, I like purple. So I blew her back out and I left her on red.
I'm looking at the stuff above it. He's talking about Wordle, and oh God, okay.
Make her do Wordle. She need to have brains if she's giving me head.
Whoa, brains head?
Whoa.
This is some novel stuff here. This is what people say Bo Burnham is. Like, Bo Burnham actually writes clever lyrics, but people hear this kind of, like, they think that it's this kind of thing.
If I need to, one day I'm going to make a compilation of every rapper I've heard that do make this pun of, like, she give good brain, like she graduated from a good school, you know, yeah. Or you know I'm a good dude, like, or there was like a Jay-Z bar where he was like something like it was along those same lines, but this I hate it. I'm like we've had enough of this pun. We get it. Like she's smart.
She's smart and she gives good head.
We get it.
Yeah. Well, I guess there's just a lot of ladies out there that are smart and give good head, and you know what? Good for them.
There was a Kanye bar that, I mean, this isn't related, but it was like, she's so cool, give head with her shades on. I was like, I'm like, what? That's so weird.
That's like, oh, it wasn't was it Sunglasses? It's the first episode of Letterkenny. I have watched this scene so many times that I should know it by heart, but I don't actually remember if it was a hat or sunglasses. I'm going to say it was Sunglasses, where it's like these two hockey players are talking to the Hicks, and one of the hockey players is like, let's have a Donnybrook, and he like wants to get in a fight, and so he takes off his shirt, but he leaves his sunglasses on. And the other guy's like, pump the brakes. You take off your shirt, but you leave on your sunglasses. What kind of backwards fucking pageantry is that? That's neither here nor there. I'm just imagining giving head with shades on. What kind of backwards fucking pageantry is that?
I was finding what was the Jay-Z? It was like, oh yeah, this is the bar where he was talking about a girl from college that he was with. Bear in mind, he was rapping this at the age of like 30-something. But he is like, I got a smarty art chick to whom I posed this question. I read a couple of books to add to her soul's progression. To put it in layman's terms, I gave her some knowledge. She gave me brains in return. She had to drop out of college.
Cool. Sick, dude.
So enough.
Yeah. I like that a decent chunk of this episode was just like, what are bad things?
What are bad things?
What are bad things people did and bad lyrics and people who were bad and bands who were bad? Like, great. Whole episode.
Bad
I don't
bars.
Know. Bad bars. Maybe that's what this one's called.
The other day we were listening
Bad
to
bars, FTA.
To 2 Chainz and Kanye the birthday song. All I want for my birthday is a big booty hoe. Mm-hmm. And like all the things, like he's like, when I die, bury me inside a Gucci store. I'm like thinking about like the logistics of that, like
hollowing out the floor.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Cam, thanks for seeing Pierce the Veil with us, Cam.
Oh yeah, thanks for having me.
That was tight. FTA. Oh yeah, we didn't eat anything today. So.
We didn't, and I'm actually getting quite. Now that I've been here and we're actually like eating regularly, I'm actually getting kind of hungry. We should maybe eat before we film anything else.
Yeah, but yep, we're in here and we're live. We did it live, like Bill O'Reilly.
We're doing it live.
Downstairs, I've been inside your bedroom.